So, hello everyone, it's time to do some more swatching. So, this time I'm going to be swatching my sort of earthy and gold colours. So, lots of quinacridones here, along with those kind of siennas and that kind of thing. There's a couple of colours I'm not including because I've done them in other videos, and that is a Van Dyke brown and an Indian red. So, the Van Dyke brown is in my dark colours video. My Indian red is, of course, in my red, but they are also earthy colours. So, honourable mention to these swatches. As you can see from these, and a couple I've got the side here, what we're doing is a little patch of normal colour. Then we try it wet on wet, we see how it responds to a bit of water. Then we get a value range to see how it changes from dark all the way down to light. And from that we can learn a lot about our colours, as well as have a nice little reference. Pop a hole punch in these corners, and we can keep them all together forever, basically, and always know how our colours worked when we used them, rather than having to rely on other people. If you think they're useful to be available, I just basically made this, and I can pop it up on my website if people think it's useful. This is one of the last videos I'm filming at the moment about these, so if you've seen my others, you might have heard me say this before, and they may already be up on my website if people felt they would be useful. Anyway, without further ado, let's start doing some swatching. So these are my earthy colours and my golds, and there's kind of everything from gold through to that lovely warm brown. And with that, let's start actually with our Quinacridone Gold, and I've also got Quinacridone Deep Gold, and we've got Quinacridone Sienna. And why am I putting all these together? Well, because they all have a very similar makeup. So within each of them we have P048 and PY150. So these are Quinacridone Gold and Nickel Azul Yellow. So the colour that they actually call Quinacridone Burnt Orange in Daniel Smith, so instead of Quinacridone Gold they call it Quinacridone Burnt Orange. That is the only quinacridone colour which has just the original Quinacridone Gold pigment in. So PY150 I believe is Nickel Azul Yellow, which is in all the other Quinacridone Golds, but P048 is Quinacridone Gold, and they actually call that colour Quinacridone Burnt Orange. So if you're not confused before, you might be now, but hopefully that made a little bit of sense. So what I'm trying to say basically is the colour isn't always exactly what it says on the tin. So this Quinacridone Gold has Quinacridone Gold in it, but it's actually a mix of two different pigments. What we're going to do first, we'll just do a little swatch of it here. So it's a mix of two pigments, but it's light fast, it's low staining, and it's non-granulating, and it gives you that lovely soft and smooth colour. It's a colour in my palette at the moment, has been for a long time, because it just produces a really lovely colour, and it's this nice warm, almost bronze gold. It feels like the sunshine in that golden hour in the evening, and there aren't many colours which replicate it, and you can't really mix it, so you either have it or you don't, and it is a really lovely colour. Now the interesting one to compare it to immediately is Quinacridone Deep Gold. So both of these are by Daniel Smith, and both of them have the exact same pigment in, P048 and PY150. And they look quite different. Well, similar but different. They look remarkably different given they are the same pigments. And that comes down to presumably the different sort of concentrations of each pigment within the two. So there must be a different ratio of these two pigments, but you end up with something complementary but rather different. I've actually got both of these in my palette at the moment, and that's because I'm trying to work out which one I prefer. And I actually think I prefer Quinacridone Deep Gold, and it's got all the same properties, so they're both light fast, low staining and non-granulating. I think I prefer this, but I think it's probably not as useful for as many different things. It's a bit darker, so it'll be harder to make those light colours. So I'm probably going to end up sticking with Quinacridone Gold, but with a special place in my heart for Quinacridone Deep Gold. Now Quinacridone Sienna is interesting because it's again got those same two pigments in, this time with quinacridone coral added in. And the quinacridone coral takes it from being non-granulating to granulating. And coral, of course, is like a hot pink, isn't it? And you can kind of see that coming through. So as we swatch it, it's a very warm, reddy brown, and it's a really delightful colour to use. So this is definitely in my palette. This is definitely going to stay on my palette because I really like it. And it's actually replaced some of the colours we're going to try out in a moment. So it's replaced those burnt umbers and burnt siennas, which are often in those kind of sets that you get, and they often come with one of those kind of colours or a natural sienna or something. But no, I've replaced it with this, which is perhaps more niche, but really, really quite beautiful. Now next, let's move on to those sort of burnt sienna and burnt umbers. So we've got a couple to try. We've got a burnt umber by Winsor Newton. We have a burnt sienna by Daniel Smith. And we also have a burnt sienna by CassArt. So that's those in that order. So what we're going to do first, we'll take the burnt sienna by Daniel Smith. The reason we'll do that is because we can compare a similar watercolour in terms of brand and how it's made up, and just see how different it looks. And you can see it's already much more like a nice mud colour, let's say. It's sort of on the spectrum of red somewhere, but it's definitely brown, but it's quite warm and lovely. And you can see perhaps why I've replaced this with this. They're similar enough. I must say, replacing them also came with me changing from a ultramarine blue to a darker blue, either an indanthrone or an indigo. The reason that's relevant is because when you mix a reddy brown with a blue, you get something quite dark. So when I made my reddy brown much redder and brighter, I needed a much darker blue to sort of counteract all that light. So having the Quinacridone Sienna with an indigo or an indanthrone means I can get the same effect as having ultramarine and a burnt sienna. And we can see that's a lovely colour. It's only lightly granulating actually. It doesn't appear to be granulating even as much as our Quinacridone Sienna down here. The burnt sienna by CassArt is also very lovely. So it's an own brand colour. So it's cheaper. It's harder to find information on it. So whilst we know that the Daniel Smith one is light fast and non-staining, I believe that the CassArt is light fast, but I don't know if it's staining, and I believe it's granulating as well. And both of them actually use the same underlying stone, and that's because it's quite a cheap stone, so it can go in the budget sections, and it's called PBR7, and that's the sort of original burnt sienna pigment. And we can see it has a very similar effect. Both of them. What I always find fascinating is that despite using the same stone, we can quite clearly see they've got a little bit of a different feel. So the CassArt one is a little brighter. This one's a little more earthy. And I think which one you prefer in terms of colour comes down to personal preference. For me, I prefer the Daniel Smiths because I trust how they'll work when I empty them into my pan and things like that. That's why I mostly use the Daniel Smith colours. Next, we've got the Burnt Umber by Winsor Newton. Burnt Umber is getting towards the darker colours, so it's much more muddy. I tried this one briefly in my palette a few years ago, and it is a nice colour, but I didn't really find a huge amount of use for it. I do find that you can always muddy down other browns, that's quite easy, but making them warm and happy is a little harder. So starting with a warm happy one and muddying it if you need to is my preferred way around. Now this Burnt Umber is a mix of 3 different pigments. It is light fast, it's staining but not granulating, and it produces a nice range of values. So you can see there we've got our sort of bright quinacridones, then we're into our burnt colours, and all these burnt colours have that same well, it's that kind of burnt effect, isn't it? But they're also a bit muddier. They don't have that glow that quinacridone colours produce. Now, if we just move those over, we can do our last two little colours, and they are Lunar Earth, which can come down here, and Buff Titanium. So Lunar Earth first. Lunar Earth is one of the Lunar range, funnily enough, from Daniel Smith. It is PBR7, so it's a single pigment, and it's actually a magnesium ferrite. So it's a big, particulate, heavy granulating, light fast colour, and it's part of their Lunar range because all their Lunar range, which includes Lunar Black and Moon Glow, are very heavily granulating. So they're difficult to make a clear wash of. So if we make a wash down here, what we'll find is it initially looks like a nice wash, and then it breaks down, and as it settles and dries, the particles really settle, and you end up with, like here, deep colour, lots of pigment dots, and actually a lot of white paper. So that's amazing, and I absolutely love that effect, but it's not something where you're going to be able to do a lovely flat wash like with any of these others. So it's an amazing special colour. It's one I use for urban sketching, for splashing, for creating textures, but not one I often use for watercolours, except for like specialist reasons. Perhaps there's a particular rock I want to have this texture, for example. Now, Buff Titanium is kind of in here as a little homage to it being a lovely colour. It doesn't really fit in with the browns and earth tones. It's more of an opaque colour. It's a bit like a gouache, a bit like sort of titanium white, for example, but it's got that slightly ivory colour to it. It's opaque, as I said. It is granulating. It's light fast. It doesn't stain. What it's used for really is creating textures, or you can change other paints to be opaque. And the challenge with it is if you have it in your palette and it's in your mixing area, and everything else that you mix that mixes with it will become opaque. It can get quite confusing. And so I don't really have it around anymore. But if, say, you're painting a lovely house, which is this kind of colour, or you want that really flat look to something, a surface in a painting, then this is a really lovely colour to have. And there you go. This is all of my sort of earthy gold and quinacridone colours. And you can see, despite them being very similar in makeup, some of them, so these are the same, these have all got two pigments in common, they are remarkably different between them. And just testing them out and being able to see it side by side can be really helpful for trying to work out, what do I want in my palette, or what do I want to experiment with. It doesn't have to go in my palette. I can just go and find something which I want to have a play with for the next couple of days. If you've enjoyed this, please do like, subscribe, leave a comment, let me know, would it be useful to do more of these? What other colours would you like me to source and try out? And would you like to have access to these swatch cards? If so, I can pop them up, as I said, on my website. Most importantly though, have fun and happy sketching. Look, here's a bit which needs a touch.